friends from different places and parts of my life, and Sonoma back, and even I see my students too, and my daughter Gaia from San Diego. Thank you for being here. So tonight, the plan is to first spend a few minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes, exploring the early history of this language, Italian, and then jump into pronunciation and some practice. Okay, give me thumbs up. Good. So what I have for you, for us, is a PowerPoint with lots of images and language that I'm going to share now with you. Just a second. And you should see a PowerPoint. Diana, you let me know if things are not working. Okay. And so this PowerPoint is full of images and text, because the idea tonight is that you see, when I speak Italian, when I say Italian words or phrases, you also see it and read it. So I won't be able to hear you, but I want you to really practice saying the words and the reading. Listen to me, say it, don't worry, I won't hear you, you can talk while I'm talking, but practice. And then there's lots of images, because when you are learning a language, you want also lots of images, and also because there's beautiful things to see, I think. So let's start. So you all know me, Cinzia Forasiepi. I joined Sonoma back in 2013. And I sing with circa 1600. I sing the music that I love the most, that I grew up with. I mean, I grew up in the churches and the cathedrals in Italy, in central Italy. And so this music really resonates with me. I come from, you see, Umbria. Perugia is in this region. And this region is called Umbria, and it's known as the Cuore Verde d'Italia. Cuore Verde d'Italia. It's the green heart of Italy. And this is the grifo, il simbolo di Perugia. The griffon is our symbol. This is the arco etrusco, which is the Etruscan door. And this is the main square with the fountain, La Fontana Maggiore. If you have been to Umbria, maybe you recognize these ceramics from Deruta. And this is Assisi, of course, St. Francis of Assisi, central in Umbria and in our culture. Gubbio, another very beautiful hill town, and Orvieto. Okay, I keep moving your faces on one side. Okay, Orvieto, that sits on that rock, that volcanic rock, on La Roccia di Tufo. And Gubbio, where you see La Corsa dei Ceri. The ceri are these columns of wood with the 3 saints on top. Gubbio is known as the city of crazy people, because in May, they just grab this cherry and they run everybody that you see here up the mountain, on top of the mountain, to bring those 3 saints into a church. But enough about me. Let's start with Italian. Okay, oops, to do this. So when I started thinking about this, I said, okay, maybe we should start with Dante and the Divine Comedy, 1300. But then I said, oh, wait a moment, what's before? When there is a language, there is also a people. Who was living in this peninsula in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea before Dante, before the Middle Ages? Well, there were lots of people. The popoli italici, the Italic people, they also had their own languages already, and they came from Central Europe. They were part of this Indo-European big group. And these migrations started as early as 7000 BCE and continued through the Copper Age, Bronze, Iron Age, so you see there is a lot of Nordic populations migrating to the peninsula in the very ancient times. At the same time, we have people coming from the sea, from the south, from the Greece and Turkey area, coming through the Mediterranean Sea through Italy, so we see the Etruscan era starting around 1000 before the current era. And then we know everything about the Latins, I Latini, who lived here at the beginning and became the Romans later. So as you see, lots of people, I want to focus our attention to Central Italy because this is the birthplace of modern Italian. This is where Italian started. So I'm going to talk about the Etruscans a little bit and the Umbrians, also because I am from here, exactly here, in between these two civilizations. And so, la lingua degli Etruschi. I am Etruscan, my DNA is Etruscan, and I'm very proud of it. I'm not Roman. This is one of the main pieces that were found exactly in Perugia and in the land around Perugia. Perugia is here. It's very easy to find this remains and these stones and with inscriptions, Etruscan inscriptions. I have a few at my house where I grew up in Perugia. And, but they, as you see, it looks really very different from today's alphabet, but actually it goes from right to left. The Romans learned the alphabet from the Etruscans. So this is actually very similar to our alphabet. For example, this sign here looks like a backward S. This is actually an M. If you shift it a little bit, it becomes an M. And then let's see if I find an, oh yeah, this A, there is an 8. If you see an 8, this is an F. It became an F during the Romans. But let's see how it sounds. So we are in the third, let me move this window, third, second century before BCE. And it could be, we think, this inscription, I'm trying to read, okay, now I can see. Maybe it was a legal contract between two families, the Veltina and the Afuna, and it read like this: Luten Veltinash Eshtla Afunas spell Efkaru Tezan. Doesn't sound Italian at all, right? But if we think about very deep linguistic roots, we can find, actually even in English, a lot of roots that come from Etruscan. Okay, for example, antenna, the word antenna, actually comes from a word, an Etruscan word. It's antithemna, which means something set up. The root for Anthony or Antonio is ant, and that's Etruscan. Mundane, which is mondo, same root, the world in Italian, and in Latin actually is Etruscan. The root is munth. Even the word person, persona, comes from the Etruscan persu. So we are still living this language even after so many centuries. And so Etruscan went through Latin. Another language that is interesting to me is the Umbrian. Umbrians were the neighbors across the Tiber Valley, and they were right here. And they had their own language. There were mountains, and there still are mountains, and a big river, the Tiber, in between these two civilizations. So there was not a lot of contact. So the two languages remained separate. These are tablets in a Gubbio. You can see them in the Palazzo Ducale, and they sound more or less like this. Dei grabuie, orer ose per sei, ocre fisie pir, orto est, totem luine, ars mor, der secor, subator sent, pusei neip heritu. They have a lot of R's. And this too doesn't sound very much like Latin yet. Let's see if I can see better. Yeah. So these are called le tavole eugubine. And this is la lingua degli Umbri. I see you are talking. Great. Perfect. Let's quickly go through Latin. I mean, Latin is so big, and il latino è una lingua indo-europea. The Latins, I Latini, they lived along the Tiber Valley, along the Tiber River, and especially in this area, while the Etruscans and the Umbrians, the Etruscans on this side, the Umbrians on this side, were also living there. Of course, we have all those poets and writers in classic Latin, and then in the late Latin, from 75 BCE, we have our ancient Latin, then we go to late Latin in 3rd century, between 5th and 7th century, Quinto, Settimo secolo, we go to Latino Vulgare, which is the vulgar Latin. This is the language of the people. While the aristocrats were speaking Latin and were writing in Latin, people were talking their own version of it. That's the Latino Vulgare. This is an important step, the 7th, 6th, 7th century, because it is when slowly Latin and Latino Vulgare turned into the Romance languages that started to develop between the 6th and the 9th century. And we usually think of the Romance languages as Portuguese, Portoghese, Spagnolo, Francese, Italiano, Rumeno, but there's many more. Look at all these languages, many, many more that today are actually still living in the dialects that we speak in Italy and in France and in Spain. But all these languages developed from Latin through Vulgar Latin, Latino Vulgare. And here you see a simplified map of le lingue romanze. Okay. And so there is this period of time, a few centuries, where Italian was not still there, was not there yet, but we were experiencing a change in Latin. It's as if it was actually a movement from the bottom, from the people who spoke this language every day. And slowly it became, it was written, it became part also of poetry, prayers. So with this step, the Romance, Vulgar Latin became transformed into Romance languages. This is an example of Latino Vulgare scritto, written, of the 9th, 10th century. It was found in a catacomb in Rome, la Catacomba di Commodilla, and the year is 820. And it says, non dicere ille secreta voce. It's not Latin. You see the Latin version here. And it's not Italian. This is the Italian. But you see already the transformation happening. And it was it was on the wall. Actually, this is what it looks like. And it was for the priest, an invitation, a reminder not to say the prayers out loud, but to just say them quietly. So this is 9th and 10th century. An important piece of the development is La Scuola di Sicilia. What time is it? I'm looking at the time. Yeah, Scuola di Sicilia. And maybe we should just skip that for now because I want you to actually practice Italian. And we can, I can show you this one too. Se pareva boves, alba pratalia, raba, albo versorio teneva, negro semen seminaba. This sounds a little more like the Italian we sing already, but it's still early Italian. It's still in transformation. This is another example, 960, sorry. This really is close to what we think Italian is today. Sao che quelle terre per quelle fini, que chi contene 30 anni le possette parti sancti benedicti. So this is 960. It's not 1305 or 1350 when Dante is writing the Divine Comedy, but yet it's already very close. Let's stop, okay? Let's stop with history and let's go to language. So when I was thinking about this idea, I thought, why don't we use a madrigal? And we use the words and the Italian of the 1584 and study the pronunciation using those words and practice pronunciation with those words. So the madrigal is I lieti amanti, you can say I lieti amanti by Luca Marenzio. And should we try the music, Diana? We tried the music and I'm not sure if the audio is good, but the recording will be in the website. But what we're going to do, I'm going to play the music and you can read it. Okay, you ready? Ah, no, wrong. Okay. Okay, how was it? It's not so easy, right? Not at all. But maybe you were able to follow a word here and there, a couple of words. Let's deep into it, go dive into it deep. Yeah, parliamo italiano. Let's start with the vowels, le vocali italiane. As you know, some of you are singers, Italian vowels are the easiest to sing, aren't they? They are the most natural ones, and they are not so many. There are actually only seven vowel phonemes, I fonemi dell'italiano. And let's grab them, pull them out of the madrigal. We saw I lieti amanti, and let's do this. I'm gonna read it and then you will repeat it after me. I want to show you also on the side, these little symbols. These are IPA, the International Phonetic Alphabet symbols for those sounds, for those phonemes. So that you recognize them later, and maybe you can use them when you are taking notes on the pronunciation of songs and pieces that we sing. So let's do it. I lieti amanti. I lieti amanti. And then le fanciulle tenere. Le fanciulle tenere. And then tenere. Focus on this sound. Tenere. Venere. Venere. Cetera. Cetera. Then A is quite straightforward. Amanti. Amanti. Gelosia. Gelosia. Pura. Pura. Ancora. There's just one A sound in Italian. It's exactly when the sound you would make when you go to the dentist. You just open your mouth. Ah, that's it. Ah, it's right there. And then this vowel, O, foco. Actually, it's this one. Oh no, sorry, we are doing this one. O, foco. E l'arco. Foco e l'arco. Gelosia. Oh. Conosco. And this is the other vowel, the open O. 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 This is kind of hard for the English speakers. It's not something you find everywhere. Maybe it depends on your English too. Let's practice. Foco. Il foco. E l'arco del figliol di Venere. Figliol. And then U. U is really dark and it wants to get out of your mouth. It's really up here and front. Pura. Oh, pura e dolce usanza vetera. Usanza. I want to show you, before we continue practicing, where these vowels are in our mouth. Le sette vocali. This is a mouth and this is a tongue. Think of it as a tongue. The tongue is a very powerful muscle and very sensitive. And we unconsciously, we just control every little piece of it. Every time when we speak, we really use every bit of this muscle and each part of our mouth. So I want to show you an interesting thing. This is what linguists call the American quadrangle. This is the tongue again, divided in sectors, the front, the center and the back, and then the high, the mid, and the low sections. And these are all the vowels of American English. But now look at Italian. In Italy, we have a triangle with our 7 vowels only. So I as in amanti, make an I and try to feel where your tongue is. Well, where is it in your mouth? What is it touching? I. right? It's pretty high. It's touching the palate at the top and front. And then try to do this, fanciulle, e. Now your tongue went from I to a high to a little below, so e, e. Go lower even in e. Your tongue is now almost flat, isn't it? Venere, Venere. And then if you continue and you go lower, you get an A. Ah, and I can see what pura, ah, very low. So do an E, ah. Feel your tongue, how big the change is in the position of your tongue. And then we can go up again, but now we stay in the back. The muscle is retracted in the back. So we say, foco, oh, your tongue is pulled back. Arco, kind of in the middle, but back. And pura. So it's very high, like E, but actually see, the muscle is moved back. Try to say an E and then U. E, U. Wow, that's a big movement. That's a big stretch in your mouth that your tongue has to travel. E, U. So let's go back to practice. Let's say a few more words. Okay, let's say more words with an E, as in a zio, figlio, tipo, rito, imbuto. And now E, as in vacation, depends where you come from. Fresca, pesca, rete, pepe, sete, and then E, as in pet, bat, bello, dolce. I don't know, I think this is wrong. This is wrong. Bello, perla, sella, essere. Well done, I see you are all practicing. You look beautiful. Then amo, musica, amore. Allora, Bob, aria. And then orco, osso, toro, onda, tondo. And then this costa, back, mossa, scossa, oro. And finally our dark, very rounded lips. Muto, unica, uso, tubo, Luca. Molto bene, bravi, bravissimi, bravissimi. I can feel the energy. There's lots of sound waves coming my way. All right, this is the triangle. So you explore the Italian triangle. Now we have a little problem here. When are we supposed to say E? When are we supposed to say E? When it is O, when is it O? Because there is no way to say it from the way it is, from the spelling. There is no accents like we have in French, l'accent aigu, l'accent grave, right? We have to figure out, and it is important to differentiate a word with E or E because it means two different things. Look at this one, pesca, pesca, but pesca is fishing. So you want to make sure you are asking for a pitch when you want a pitch and not for a fishing, right? Una pesca and pesca. And then Also, this is an interesting one. Venti, winds, but venti, the number. Venti, venti. Another one. Volto, look at this kitty, it's turned. Volto and volto, volto. And then colto, like a fish that is being caught, and colto, closed. So it's not easy and it's not visible. Why? Sometimes A is closed, sometimes it's open, and O is closed or open. There are a few rules. Usually, generally, when the syllable is stressed, when the vowel is stressed, it is closed. Like in le fanciulle, sorry, unstressed. Le fanciulle tenere. See, where the U is where the stress is. So these A's are unstressed, so they are closed. Le fanciulle tenere. And when they are stressed, they are open. Tenere, venere, cetera. This is quite a strong rule. Same for O. Foco, arco. The stress is here, so O is closed. Fiol, the stress is on that vowel, so it's open. And it's all nice and dandy until we have words like this, meraviglioso. The stress is right here on that O, but it's closed. It's supposed to be open. Pietoso. There might be other rules. We are not going to worry about that. And then if there is an accent on that syllable, on that vowel, then you know it is open. Piangerò, morirò, canterò. Right? In our songs, we see this often, these very romantic words. Morirò, piangerò. And sometimes we are lucky, we have words like perché, poiché, with an accent, and those are closed, right? But it also depends on where you are. Italians use e or e or o depending on where they come from. An example is the word perdere in Italian. The accent is in e, so it's open. But in a southern Italian, you may hear perdere, all open, or perdere. So there is another rule there, and it is an influence from their dialect. Let's practice. Okay, let's do some useful Italian. Un po' di pratica. Pronti? Ready? Buonasera. Buonasera. Buongiorno. Buonanotte. Buonanotte. Oh, I'm meeting for the first time. So actually, I haven't seen you in a long time. Come stai? Come stai? Sto bene. Grazie. Say with me, grazie. Remember to say all the vowels to the end. Grazie. Don't stop at E. Grazie. There is another one. Grazie. Grazie. Prego. Prego. And this is a good one. Buon appetito. Buon appetito. And salute. With a nice U. Salute. Chin chin. Chin chin. Ready for a little more practice? What time is it? Okay, so consonanti. This is our nice head. Move this I'm gonna move your faces below. For consonants, we are not we're pretty close with English. There is not a lot of difference apart from a few groups of consonants that we spell in a different way. But mostly you already know how to pronounce Italian consonants. Let's do these pairs first. The pairs are P, B, T. Can you hear me? D and G. Now, when you say these words in English, let's say this word. What do you hear? Say pot. Can you hear like a puff of air when you say the P? We represent it in phonology with this little H. P, T. Sorry, there is a T that's not supposed to be there, and K. Well, in Italian, we don't do that. We don't have that aspiration. Our P, T, and K are very dry. So practice with me, but remember not to say the when you say P. Just stay very dry. Piano, papa, pasta, pizza, opera, pena, pappa, oppure, appena. Yeah, very nice. Yes, yes. Did you notice that there are double consonants? You know, right? That in Italian we have double consonants. How do you do that? In English, we don't have double consonants. So it's hard for English speakers to hear the difference between double and single consonants. A trick is to think of the vowel before a double consonant as a jumping thing, you know, when you jump, when you dive into the pool, jump on that and then just jump high into the next vowel. Papa. So you need more air, you need more explosion. Oppure. Also, the vowel following the double consonant is a little longer. Oppure, appena. And the vowel before is very short. Boom. If you do a single consonant, actually the vowel following, so these are too short of words to see this. Pasta, papa, piano, pizza, opera, pena, oppure, appena. Maybe I'll give you a few more examples when in the website. These are not good to see that. Let's try with B. Bello, bacio, abate, and now double. Babbo, abbraccio, rabbia, ebbro. You're a little frozen to me. Was it okay, Diana? Because, okay, for a second you were frozen. And now let's try, yeah? Good, okay. Let's try T. So this one is kind of hard to keep dry, keep it dry. No H, no Th. Muti, antico, pianto, artista, tutto, spaghetti, attore. Very nice. Again, the double T. Forget the spaghetti, now it's spaghetti. And then D, dolore, Dio, udite, addio. Practice the double consonant, addio, laddove, addolorata. Molto bene. And finally, ka. Ka is very back, and you can see here, we make it here. Can you feel your velum moving backward? And also g, g. So let's practice these words. Canto, poco, lacrima, tocca, trucco, racconto, sacco. And then with g, can see, okay, gola, gamba, lagrima, double now, tragga, agguato, agglomerato. Whew, this is a lot of words, lots of sounds. Let's say a few things. Maybe you have someone else with you, maybe you can ask them these questions. Introduce yourself. Ciao, sono Cinzia. E tu? Say your name. Ciao, sono Cinzia. E tu? Mi chiamo Cinzia. E tu? Mi chiamo. My name is. Actually, the translation is I call myself. This is how I call myself, Cinzia. Mi chiamo Cinzia. And how do you respond? You say piacere. Piacere mio. You can also ask when you meet someone, dove abiti? Dove abiti? Well, abito a San Francisco. Abito in via Manzoni numero 3. In via Manzoni numero 3. Di dove sei? Where are you from? Di dove sei? Sono di San Francisco. E tu? Sono americana. Sono spagnola. So if you, in Italian we have two genders, grammatical genders. And when you see a is feminine and o is masculine. Depending on your gender, you choose one or the other. We lost the neuter that was in neutral, that was in Latin. Lucky us, we have one less rule to learn, only two genders. Parli inglese? Parli inglese? Io parlo italiano. So when you speak Italian, you know already, because somehow Italian sounds so musical. It is because of the vowels, but also because of the range of intonation. Italian, it seems that Italians speak in 2 octaves. I'm going to go up and down in these 2 octaves. British English, just to give you an idea, goes up and down in 3 or 4 notes. The range is very limited compared to Italian. So when you practice Italian, yeah, parli inglese? Io parlo italiano. Up and down. Piacere. Piacere mio. You okay? Oh, let's continue with our practice. Pratica con l'italiano. When you see your friend, you want to ask them, come stai? Ciao, come stai? And you can say, così, così. Così, così. Oh, molto bene. There is a little chart here with a few more examples. Sto così, così. Sto benissimo. Oh, sono stanco. Sono contento. Sono malato. Sono annoiato. This is the sign for bored. I'm bored. It's as if you're the Italian sign, right? It's as if your beard is growing because you're so bored. That's what it means. This is your beard. Or you can say, non molto bene. Non molto bene. Così, così. We already practiced the dove sei, didn't we? Sono di San Francisco, sono americana, sono spagnola. You can also ask, come stai oggi? Sono contento o contenta. Sono triste. Sono annoiato. Sono innamorato. I must say, it is a little strange to teach a language to a computer screen. Hopefully you are having fun, because, yeah, okay, I see thumbs up. Okay, thank you, because I'm not sure what's happening. Okay. So, right. We will, I think, I don't know, do we have more? Okay, no, that's it. Do we have questions?
Yeah, I wondered what the difference is between sto and sono.
So, sto and sono. So, sono is the verb to be, essere, and sto is the verb stay, stare, to stay. But in expressions, it's used, sto is used in expressions of, like in this case, come stai? It means, how are you? I mean, how are you doing? What's your status? Or it's used to say, oh, il telefono sta sul tavolo. The phone is on the table, is located someplace. It's a status, not a state, it's a state. Sono is to be. It's more descriptive, as in English. I'm tired, sono stanco. But sto bene, I'm okay. This is a state of a physical state. Maybe that's the idea. I don't know if I answered your question, Matthew. A little bit.
I wrote something in the chat. Can you comment on that?
Oh, I can't see. Let me see the chat. I have to find the chat. Just a second. If I open too many windows, I can see. Okay. I can't see it, Gaia.
Cinzia, I can tell you that it says
Oh, okay.
is temporary state of being and sono is permanent.
Good question, Gaia. No, I don't think so. Like in a come stai, for example, in our examples here, come stai, sono stanco. This is not a permanent state. It can change, right? Or sto così, così. Everything, all of this can change. So probably these are expressions and you just have to take them as they come. And then if you use essere and stare in other sentences, like il bicchiere sta sul tavolo, then stare has its meaning. It means to stay, to be, but on a place, in a place. Yeah. Other questions?
just so everyone knows, if you go to sonomabach.org following this presentation, there's going to be a place where you can fill out a comment card and let us know what you thought, or if there's a question that pops up a little bit later for you as you kind of ponder what we've gone over tonight. We'll also make the PowerPoint available on the Parliamo Italiano part of our website. And you can enjoy I Lieti Amanti by circa 1600 from our concert Musica Transalpina in 2018. And so that's a recording we're using on the website. And so all of these resources will be available to you. And if you have questions or anything else you'd like to share with us, you can go ahead and just fill out that comment card and we'll be sure to get back to you. There's a place to put your email. And we'll get back and answer your questions and get you set up for our next Parliamo Italiano, which will be happening next month on July the 22nd. And we'll send you plenty of emails and information going forward, but you can mark your calendar for part 2 of this great series. And I'm just so grateful for Cinzia to be here and to teach us a little Italian today. And so we'll just give you a little round of applause. Yay!
Bravi, bravi a voi, voi siete stati bravi. Very patient, molto pazienti, molto interessati, molto bene, bravi, sono molto contenta.
I love it. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for logging on tonight, and hopefully we'll see you next month and also on sonomabach.org for the rest of our virtual activities. So hope to see you soon. Good
Ciao.
night, and ciao.
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 Cin cin, saluti.
Ciao, saluti.
Salute.
Molto bene.
Molto bene, bravi.
Molto bene, ciao.
Grazie.
Grazie a te, grazie a voi.
Grazie.
Buonanotte.
Ciao. Buonanotte.
Ciao.
Buonanotte.
Ciao Stefano.
Buonanotte.
Buonanotte. Ciao. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and end us. So good night, everyone.
Okay, good night.